Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's showcase of Lady Arcaders. Today we have Abbie's Corner running Illbleed, Bad Ending, and I am on comms. I'm so excited for this game. Whenever you are ready, Abbie, go ahead and take it away.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to possibly the most humorous, frightening, terrifying horror game you will ever see, Illbleed. What is this game exactly? It's basically horror Disneyland, which also is ironically named Illbleed. So it takes place in a haunted theme park named Illbleed. Anyway, I won't get too much into details because we have to talk about things while in the actual game itself. Of course, as you can see, it is a Sega game. It is for the Dreamcast. It's only available on the Dreamcast. And without any further ado, in 3, 2, 1, press butter to start. So, to explain that, the press start to butter, one of my mods and fellow Lady Arcader, Pippi in a top hat, thought that button looked like butter, and so it became a meme in my channel. She watched most of my learning of this game as we head into Home Run of Death. We're going to fight Bambalo, also known as Bambi to me, because I just shortened to Bambi. There are 5 or 6 levels in total that we will be going through, and of course, traps are everywhere. That's kind of this game's gimmick. This one will always hit you. Luckily, it doesn't cause any bleed damage. Bleed damage is what you have to worry about the most in this game. Fun fact, this level is causing a lot of resets. If you do wish to run this game / learn this game, this level will be reset-a-mania for you. As I try to tag the first trap that can actually... Again, if you don't tag that, you will take a bunch of damage and bleed damage. There are 3 types of damage in total. There is your health bar, your bleed meter, and your heart rate. If your heart rate goes up too high, you will take damage. And what I'm doing there is tagging. I now know that I am on pattern A, so now that I know my trap patterns, I can kind of avoid the other traps throughout the rest of the level. Optimally, pattern C is the best for this one. Why is pattern C the best? Because on pattern A, you have that happening. And luckily, all it does is increase the heart rate. B, a little bit more difficult, and C, you don't have any issues once you find out. How do you find out what pattern you're on? I hear you not ask, because I can't see chat, but I'm going to assume that chat is asking that question. Typically, you'll need a couple of run-throughs, but there are certain things with the horror monitor. As you can see, there is sight, hearing, smell, sixth sense. After a couple of runs, you might notice something, and so that's how you can tell is... So sixth sense is like you're going to get into some sort of combat. Sight usually means that you'll see something. Smell is sort of another thing that you'll see. Like, for example, you can see smell and sixth sense going on, as well as sight. So sixth sense would be a fight, which is over to the right, and your smell and sight are over here. I'm going to pick up an extra item here. There is a stake, which is a full heal here. And I forgot about that trap, and I believe we're going to be in the danger zone at this point. Also, I should note that there is a flashing warning. Crap. Oh dear, this is not good. I might game over here, because I forgot to tag things. Yay! I do have that full heal, but oh wow. Okay, so I'm going to I'm going to explain something a little extra. Do you see the little... Oh my god. Okay, this run is going really bad. But you see the little blue chip thing there? That means that traps are more likely to hit you. That's not very good. And because we are actually on pattern A, you need to tag the bottles. If I was on pattern C, I could go jump on the beds. So I am currently super bleeding out. This is not good, and I'm slowly going, and oh my god, this could be game over. Just letting you all know that we may have a reset on our hands, because I'm... Oh dear. Yeah, this might be reset a mania here.
I do see somebody in the chat mentioning there's a lot of blood. This game is not for people who are bothered by blood graphics or are squeamish about it. There's a lot of it everywhere.
Yes, there is
comes up
also
quite
a lot of
frequently.
blood, which is bad times as well. Like a lot of blood, to comical effect. So warning on that one too. So flashing lights warning and blood warning, and that should kill me. Oopsie.
It happens.
Yep. So you get a bleeding death, or you can get a no health death. Both very unfortunate. I'm sorry that we got a game over so fast. So we get $3,000 and a creepy doll face. But now you know how the game kind of dies. Ugh. My apologies for that one. So now I'm going to do this the ultra safe way, which is what I should have done the first time. So we're gonna go into the shop and buy 4 things of gauze. Gauze is what's going to help us stop the bleeding. Bleeding is the most important thing you want to stop. So we run down here, buy... No, not that. Buy this. The shop is going to be your friend. Normally in a run, once you're getting used to it, you don't pick up anything until you get to Rachel, which is the 2nd level. Technically, I forget the exact name of the level, but we'll find out when we get there. Again, my apologies for dying so quickly. I was kind of in, like, I should explain things mode, and kind of distracted myself. So again,
okay.
We're gonna get hit. Oh no. This apparently was going to get ported to Xbox at one point. I'm not sure which Xbox it was going to get ported to, but the port was canceled for some reason. I don't know the reason, and I also don't know who owns the rights to this game. It would be nice to get a port of it on something new, because the game is also quite expensive. It goes for about $400 to $500 for the American version, and $100 to $200. This is Canadian prices, by the way. $100 to $200 for the Japanese version, and apparently there's a Taiwanese version for like $700 or something crazy like that. So we're once again on pattern A. So once again, we hug the left wall, hug the right, then we're gonna hug over here. There we go. And again, we're gonna... Ooh, okay, that's pretty bad. Bambi's hand came to say hi. So I need to heal immediately. That was unfortunate that Bambi's hand came to hit me so early. We're still good HP-wise, because there is that stake, and there's also a Hassie in the fridge. So we do have healing item options, though this health we're still pretty okay. Heart rate's a little iffy, but I should be fine enough for the rest of the level to get to the Amazon. Amazons will heal everything fully. I don't know if they're in every level, I only know where the one in this level is. Again, pattern A is probably your 2nd best option for this level, as we hug the left here. You want to hug the left on every pattern, because you're not going to get caught by anything, for the most part. And then turn again, and turn again. Again, we're going to tag this, and we're going to tag that. And I'll grab the stake as a precaution once again, just in case, because better safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then we are going to tag this. The other 2 patterns by the... Come on. Of course it wants to tag the fridge. I was trying to stop it from tagging the fridge. B and C, you want to tag that, though it is avoidable. And because I don't have a lot of bleeding happening and the blue thing's not there, I should be able to make this corner cut properly, like so, and we are good. Because again, once your bleeding is past the little blue chip thing, you are maximum bleeding, and traps can easily trigger... Well, you're not maximum bleeding, because maximum bleeding is death, as I tagged the wrong thing again. Come on. Oh, come on now. Don't give me this monitor.
Cool.
Again, traps can hit you easier, like the enemy that we saw here earlier, completely avoidable. And then we're going to hit and hit. Again, you still get this cutscene, but there's no damage, so it's a bit faster. And then you have the door, which we didn't avoid. How unfortunate.
Yeah.
That door usually wants to hit me, but not hit me at the same time. It's really random, so again, I'll heal because I need to. Again, you don't want to bleed too much. Bleeding is the biggest threat. So we're going to pick up a trophy here. Jimmy's trophy, of course. So we picked up Jimmy's trophy, and then we're going to avoid a fight by walking on the bed and falling through the wall. Again, that is a huge time save and a huge not gonna get hit save because you avoid a fight with 2 enemies. I don't need to tag that, I need to tag the next room. Because on C and A there is a pile of beams that'll hit you, but they're in different locations. If I was on C, it would have been at the top of the stairs. If I was on A, it's going to be in the next room.
Unfortunately, the big draw of this game is all the traps and the different effects they are. They are very creative with some things, and the speedrun does skip quite a bit of them.
Yes.
There are some that you cannot avoid, but there are videos on YouTube of all these traps going off and some of the interesting ways they try to kill our main character, Eriko. Definitely worth looking up if you enjoy this game.
So I'm tagging that as a precaution in case I miss this turn. I hit the turn, luckily. And then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna walk to 6. Is it gonna let me tag it? No. Is it because I'm actually on 5? There we go. So this is going to initiate a fight. Unavoidable. Trying to make sure he's actually active right now. What is he doing? I try to activate him and rush him into the corner so that I can call the helicopter. By the way, yes, there is a helicopter that is lowering a rope in the inside of a building. We don't question these things. It's just a thing. It's just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. Magic shenanigans.
I'm not question Illbleed and just go with it.
So the reason I went to the right wall was to avoid a trap. There is an eyeball that will spook Eriko and cause the heart rate to go up. It's perfectly fine. And then we go in here, and now we meet the boss of the level, Mr. Bambalo, aka Bambi. So I'm going to activate the testimonial, and then I'm going to activate the trophy. And then we're going to turn, and we're going to run into here, and then Eriko decides to play some baseball, and there's Bambi, the disgusting zombified monster. And of course, he has a flamethrower. Double dodge there, by the way. If you don't double dodge, he will hit you. And then we kind of want to make him go into the corner so that we can call the helicopter the rest. His flamethrower does a decent amount of damage. It's best not to get caught, and now we have the maze. So one thing about the maze, anytime you can go left, you want to go left. Never not go left when you have the option to go left. It is the best way to avoid him. His first sighting is off screen, so you do want to hug this wall. And then the next corner, we're going to see him in a moment here. There he is in all his glory. Nice dodge. I actually thought we were going to get an encounter there. Again, going left. Anytime you go left, you just go. Again, there he is.
Of note, in this maze, there is a friend to save. Illbleed has a story.
Yes.
And Eriko is going to the Illbleed Park to save her friends because they've gone missing after
And
visiting
there's
it.
the first one. His name is Kevin. He is the only one we will be saving.
Yes. If you take 25 minutes to finish the maze, Kevin dies. And that's slow. We're going for the bad ending anyways. But we can save one friend. The bad ending does not have Eriko saving all of her friends.
Yes. I actually didn't know that that's how you get Kevin killed, funnily enough. I wasn't aware how you get him killed. I know that a lot of runners were like, the reason nobody runs the other category, which is good ending, is because you have to wait 20 minutes for Kevin to die. And I was like, is that like something else or something? Like, I was really confused how you would do that. But,
So, funnily enough, there is another friend that we save later, or that we do not save in this run, that is actually quicker to let die.
yes.
Than revive later. If you're going good ending.
It is faster to let, because you get a if you save Jorg and solve the Killer Man case, so you can basically buy your friends back with the money instead of going to save them. Now, one thing, I kind of screwed up that maze, but you want to go right those 2 times, and then you're going to pause for a second, and the second you start hearing Bambi go, then you start moving in the corner, which helps a lot. And now we have the actual Bambi fight, and after the Bambi fight we save Kevin, but in addition to saving Kevin, we're going to pick up an Amazon, which again, as I mentioned earlier, will give us a full heal of everything. We will use it after the giant Bambalo run through, because there is a chance he will hit us and cause a bit of damage. I'm actually not too bad right now, but I will gauze up just in case. So we're going to grab the Amazon for post-Giant Bambi. Heal for now, even though I'm pretty sure I would be okay even without it. As a matter of fact, I'll just heal with the food too, since I kind of forgot I had the steak. So we'll be perfectly fine for this, as there's now a Giant Bambi! Isn't that lovely? You can take about 3 hits against Giant Bambi before it really becomes an issue. Again, I will always preemptively do that, because I think I'm going to get hit. So there's hit number 1. And then jump. Again, she's kind of getting danger mode right now. Sorry for
Illbleed's platforming is not, it's fine, is not user-friendly. It's very difficult to make it through this.
Yes. Along with the car hopping section, or as I like to call it, the parkour section in the next level. And dodge. And also, there is a potential to go the wrong way as well, if you're not paying close enough attention, because there's actually 2 paths you can take here. There's going the right way, which is what we're doing currently, and then there's going the wrong way, and you'll know you're going the wrong way when Bambalo just kind of messes off and goes the opposite direction. Luckily we are at the end, and we have survived the Bambi section. Bambi is now gone forever. We never have to worry about him again, and we're going to hit him 4 times. To cause his head to pop off, and then we're going to grab this, and then we're going to use that Amazon to do the things. So use...
Don't worry, Erico didn't kill a person. That was a robot.
Yes.
Controlling a giant robot.
Yes.
Don't think about it too hard.
There are no humans harmed in the making of this video game. It's true.
Well, unless we let our friends die.
Okay, fair, if we let our friends die. Although one of them is currently a wood puppet, so... I mean, does that one count?
I mean... we'll get to that when we get there.
Fair enough. So, this is the path that I mentioned that you could take if you were going the wrong way, because this leads to the level exit. There has been a few times where I forget to grab the key card, and I'm bleeding along the way, and it's like, oh no, I am dead. Also, fun fact, when you have another character, for example, we have Kevin right now, when your character dies, and if you have more characters, you can pick the new character, or the other character, but you have to completely redo the level. There's no, like, checkpoint system. So, if we die at this point as Eriko, we have to do it with Kevin.
There are save points, they're photo booths, but they're just for saving and reloading your file. There's no checkpoint system.
Yeah.
The game is rather brutal.
So, for example, if we save in a photo booth now that we have Kevin, we don't get a game over, we get a, hey, use Kevin, please. And then we'd have to die as Kevin to reload that save to use Eriko again, unless we complete the level with Kevin and then things happen. So we got a bunch of money now. So now, as another backup strat, I'm going to pick up a few things, like a few healing items, to make sure that I can make it through with no issues. We're going to pick up 3 of these, 4 of these, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. I should have been counting the whole time because counting along causes me to have the "do you want to purchase this often" pop up, and that way I can just, leave as fast as possible. Now, earlier on the Lady Arcader's Twitter page, somebody wrote, "I hope there's no giant worms here." Unfortunately, the Revenge of the Worm Queen is this level. So, whoever wrote that, I'm very, very sorry, but there are giant worms in this game. Please prepare yourself for giant worms. Now, we get a horror monitor here that gets immediately stolen by a monkey. There are now monkeys now, so dun 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 dun, and they have stolen the horror monitor. Luckily, there's no traps in this level. There are just encounters. And there are enemy monkeys, because of course there are enemy monkeys. But hopefully we won't see any.
If you get a chance and you see any of the billboards in the back of the screen, go ahead and take a read at them. They're very interesting. Monkey Park, for example.
Yes.
Also, there's a story for each of these levels. The first one was about baseball and an inn that burned down. This one is about a worm farm that was bought by a company
darn it, I got
and
caught by monkeys.
paved over. Surprisingly, Illbleed is very anti-capitalist.
Yes.
But
Okay.
the entire story of this... Oh, go ahead.
The monkeys weren't too bad. What I should have been doing is hugging this wall. For some reason, I didn't think I was fully in the turn yet. So you want to hug the left wall the entire time. And then we're going to hug the right wall once we're past here to avoid more monkeys and worms. There are worm fights and monkey fights here. Again, this is the shortest level in the game because there's no traps to tag or anything. There's just worms and monkeys to avoid. Again, stick to the right wall. And yeah, that's all I wanted to mention. If you wanted to continue, sorry for interrupting.
It's okay. This is about the worm farm and it being bought out by a company, paving it over, and forcing the former worm farm owner to work terrible hours at a gas station. And we have to put his spirit to rest, is the story of this one, which means we have to find his beloved worm, Rachel, and kill her.
Yes, and send them to hell.
Yes.
The beloved worm is his granddaughter, apparently, because when we kill Rachel, she goes, "Grandpa!" And it's like, oh, well, this is a nice story, I guess, of sending them to hell is your thing. And of course, we want to hug the right wall here again, and you want to stay away from the signs to avoid the final monkey encounter. Luckily, we're not bleeding, so that's why I'm not healing. And then there's going to be a worm that we can kind of debate and dodge. It is a little difficult because it will kind of, just pop up out of nowhere. It's the only worm that we'll see pop up, so to speak. Anytime you see the screen rumbling or something, there's a worm behind. So, comes... He's gone. Nope. Okay, I thought he was over on the left and I could have stuck to the right. So there's the worms. And then we are going to leave here. One thing of note, when it comes to regular enemies, in order to kill them, you have to counter hit them. Bosses don't require counter hits. Also, that was the hardest part of the level. We are now going to pick up a baby bottle. by parkouring over some cars or playing Frogger or whichever thing you prefer to call it. I call it parkouring across cars. If you touch the brown parts, by the way, you will activate Rachel. She is immortal right now. You have to escape from her, and it sends you all the way back to the start of this section of the level. So we're going to walk here. Cutscene plays. Hit the wrong button, of course. One thing you want to do to speed up menuing is hit the button that we use to activate the horror monitor, but you want to make sure you hit start first. If you hold the button, however, after you've hit start, it's still going to not activate horror monitor powers and still activate fast menu powers, as you can see here. So we're going to hit the rusty key, and then we're going to go in here. We've got a bunch of movie posters here. Also, you want to stick to the right as much as possible because there is a zombie fight, and they have guns. It's not a fun time. And of course, you have to counter hit to kill them, but you also don't have a weapon at this point, so that is what we are doing here. As we are going to grab a wrench as well as the flamethrower in just a moment, because we have a puzzle to solve, quote-unquote puzzle, if you will. So now that we have the wrench, we're going to turn and grab the flamethrower as we see some of the posters.
The Rachel attack earlier. Illbleed likes to throw bosses at you that are invincible, and you have to either puzzle a solution out, or you have to leave and fight them again later.
Yes.
This is not the first time we'll run into an invincible boss. This will not be the last time we run into an invincible boss.
Yes. Bambi was also invincible during the maze section, as well as the first encounter. Now, for this puzzle, what we want to do is we want to go to the 3 signs that have 5 blocks. You go to the 3rd block and activate the wrench. This gives us moving platforms for us to jump across to get to the other cars, because you would have noticed that there was long stretches of road between the paved dirt, so Rachel could have easily gotten to us. So here we go. We now have the means to get across to get to Rachel's spot to activate the fight. So we're going to jump now. Jump. Very nice. And
we're passing by one of my favorite oh no, this is not it. There's one billboard that is just Godla. It's just Godzilla.
Yep.
But without a syllable.
Yes. This game actually has an Indiana Jones / Toy Story reference, because Cork, as he's known in the English version, Inda in the Japanese version, is basically Woody and Indiana Jones thrown together. It's adorable. Of course, in the Japanese version, you still hear the name Cork because it's all English audio and Japanese text. So that is a thing. Again, they wanted to kind of not get sued, so it makes perfect sense, and the parkour section is done. And here we activate the flamethrower to begin the Rachel boss fight. And of course, one thing to note is that when you are using ranged weapons, you want to hit the horror monitor button, which is the right trigger on a Dreamcast controller. Of course, Rachel can be a bit of a pain because she will do that. Also, counter hits do more damage than non-counter hits. Also, sometimes aiming can be a bit of a pain. So there's an example of a counter hit right there. You see how it was doing more damage, and also how she was squirming a little bit. So that's how you tell you've done a counter hit. There's another counter hit. Wonderful. Lots of damage. And again, we're just waiting for her to pop up so that we can hit her again. There we go. There's an example of not a counter hit. She doesn't flail or anything. She just kind of goes, I'm on fire, I guess. There's a counter hit. Wonderful. Turn again. No counter hit this time. You can actually hear a noise from the worms. I can't tell if it's a noise against Rachel herself. But we're going to come across a worm fight later on in Killer Department Store. But that's not for another 2 levels. But something I just wanted to note.
And yes, Killer Department Store also has a story.
I think all levels have a story. Alright. Come on, Rachel, pop up. Thank you, and thank you for counter-hitting. She is now dead. But she's going to pop up one more time to be like, I'm dying. And she's dead. And then she gets sent to hell with her grandfather. And now oh wait, I almost forgot about the gas can. Because that's what we're here for. We're here for the gas so that we can drive off to the next level. Of course, if I've done everything correctly, we'll walk out of here with $80,000. The game is very generous when it comes to its money. Very generous indeed. I don't know why I was trying to flamethrower the car. And also, the game is very picky about where you put items. So it's kind of like you do have to pay attention to that. And we are getting the full $80,000. So now it's time for wood puppets. And again, there is a tree boss that will vomit at points. It's RNG completely. So warning for those who get a bit squeamish about vomit, there is a part where you will see that. Also, we are going to see our first chance of a regular enemy fight. So that is also a thing. So I picked up a little bit more items here because I can afford it, and also I will need them because there are more things to tag. So now we walk up here to head to wood puppets. Our friend Randy has been turned into a wood puppet and also has had his brain removed. So he makes very funny sounds as we're walking through.
Real quick, you mentioned $80,000 at the end of the last level. You see the win prize there, $120,000. That is dependent on how fast you clear the level and some other things.
Yes.
Abby hit all of the conditions, so she got the full prize on the last level.
Yes.
Each of the levels have their own cash prizes in differing amounts. This one just so happens 120.
Yes, and the conditions are your bleeding is under a certain amount, your health is a certain amount, your heart rate, adrenaline, etc. is a certain amount. So, depending what we get here, we don't want pattern C. Pattern C is the slowest. We do not have pattern C, luckily. I believe we have pattern B. Pattern C is the slowest because we get forced into a wood puppet fight, which is what we don't want. Something is active here, and I'm really hoping it's not a chainsaw. It was not a chainsaw, hooray. And of course we have lumberjacks everywhere, and we pick up the axe. And then we're going to head away. But yes, lots of traps in this one. We're going to be doing a lot of tagging, which is why I purchased the adrenaline injections, so that we can heal ourselves of that, because again, there are a lot of traps. And this level and the next three are kind of a bit iffy. Again, you'll see me activate the horror monitor a lot on accident, because again, to speed up the menu, you have to hit the same button while pressing start. Yes, I believe we are on pattern B. How enjoyable. No pattern is really that bad. It's all RNG based, by the way, so there's no way of knowing what pattern you'll have. It's all completely random. I will know for certain what pattern I'm on in just a moment, because there is a trap in this area that is only activated on pattern B. Of course, as you trigger traps, you get adrenaline back, so you don't need to fear too much about it. So, let me just see here. If this box right here that I just tagged activates, then we are on B. So we are on B. Confirmed. There is usually something in each level where I can confirm what pattern I'm on, so we're all good. There's Randy, walking around, doing his thing. Pattern C is the first window, pattern A and B are the second window. So, because...
When Abbie pulls up her horror monitor, it's constantly draining her adrenaline. And so she wants to use it really quickly, tag what she needs, and close it. So she has more adrenaline for other things. It's just the little brain bar at the bottom.
Yep. And then there is a trap here on all patterns, it does not change. And there we go. There are a couple that are on all patterns, and here is our first mandatory fight as we take a piece of wood from this fine gentleman here, and he is not a fan of that, so he's like, hey, I want my piece of wood back, prepare for combat. So again, we need to hit them with a counter hit. Of course, we're still doing damage to them the whole time, so even if we don't get the counter hit, we're still doing damage, and he has died. Again, there's a lot of bleeding in this game, so that is also a thing. We have one. We need to tag this spot right here, because all patterns have that spot. And we continue running. And then we're going to take a wide berth here with this turn, because sometimes if you take a short turn, you might get hit by the first trap, which is not what we want. So there are 4 traps to tag, so I usually tag all 4 just as a precaution, because, you know, better safe than sorry. So 2 on the wall, and then it should be the one in the back. Correct. There's always 3. And then right over here, when we're turning here, is where the wood puppet fight would happen. If we were on pattern C, you fight 2 of them at the same time, and there's nothing worse than fighting 2. Now, with this panel, we need to activate the wood. And then we have to spell out wood. In the North American version, it is spell out wood. In the Japanese version, it is something to do with death. I don't remember exactly what it is. So now we have been turned into a wood puppet, so we move a lot slower. And then I need the second light. I might mess this up. Okay, no, we're good. It is the second light on B, it is the first light on A, and it is the last light on C. Oh no, I got that wrong. It is the last light on B, and I didn't do the turn correctly to miss that. So a little oof on that one. So I'm going to heal fully here because I have taken damage, and why not just heal fully? So 1, and then it's going to be that one. Oh no, it wasn't that one, it was the corner itself. Sometimes it's a little hard to hit things, so you're like, oh no, I was right about that one though, where it was that. Good. Oh.
You still bleed as a wood puppet, which is really surprising to me.
Yes.
Did we explain that running increases bleeding?
No, we did not explain that. Movement of any kind increases bleeding if you're bleeding, so dodging, like anything movement related will cause bleeding. Oh, what was that one? Curses. Darn it. So, bit unfortunate that I forgot about that one. I thought all patterns didn't have that, but all patterns have, or B has that one. A and C don't. I rarely get B, so my B is a little bit rusty. So now we are going to the woodsman area, woodsman competition. So we're going to have some woodsmen chasing us and whatnot. No more traps for the most part from this point on. There's like one trap, but it's not like hidden or anything. It's pretty much running away from woodsmen and dominating them with T-poses. So get ready for that.
We will see why you did not want to fight 2 wood puppets at once.
Yes.
We get a very nice move.
Yes, and you don't want to fight any enemies that are 2 because they tend to gang up on you. So we have the music. I got a little confused because of the way the camera turns. Now, one thing that I didn't mention during the Bambi section is that by going into the map, you pause enemy movements. It's not really needed for Bambi because Bambi is pretty avoidable, but it is needed here because they're fast and we're slow. So, and we want to keep one as close to us as possible because it doesn't allow the other ones to spawn. So anytime that I can kind of see them, I will pause. It is a bit of a risky move to do that. But again, there would be one spawning here if I kept pausing and pausing and pausing and pausing. So again, keeping it at bay by doing the pause, but also taking a bit of a risk. We don't want to fight any of the lumberjacks, woodsmen, whatever you prefer to call them. I was thinking of a third name off the top of my head, and I couldn't. And
They're out for our blood, our puppet blood.
yes, I mean, really, they're after our wood, but yes. Okay, this might be a little risky. We might get into a fight here. Again, I'm pausing as much as possible to keep him from moving because he is so close. There we go. I don't know if he will follow at this point because there is a cutscene coming up. So we meet Kevin again, and then we get a woodall, which will eat some wood. There's no there's no woodsman, lumberjacks around for a bit. So that is a good thing. So we just get to leisurely speed walk for a bit. I would say run, but we're a bit too slow to be running at this point. So we grab.
I will say, we've talked about Randy. He is another friend you can save. But there's another step to saving him in this. If you have to pick up his brain and give it back to him to get the full character. Otherwise, you get a special character called Brainless Randy. That's kind of impossible to use. He has no adrenaline. Is that right?
I don't know the answer to that question because I've never saved him. But for good ending, the game does not care which Randy you save. They do not care if you save him with the brain or as brainless. So that is something to keep in mind. If you do choose to save him and get good ending, game doesn't care. It's just save him. So you can fall down off these ledges, by the way. So as I was cutting those corners rather tight, there was a chance I could fall down, and then you have to rerun through this area. But we managed to not fall, and then the woodsmen are coming back here in just a second, and we of course are going to open the map like the fast speedrunners we are. As we keep going here. Again, because he's so close, you want to keep opening and closing the map as much as possible until you can start getting some distance. Again, so long as one of them is following you, it keeps them despawned as much as possible. That was a little close. And then we go.
Yeah. The game will only allow one of them to spawn at a time.
And I'm kind of pausing quickly because stairs seem to be the enemy when it comes to them. I don't know why, it just seems like they go a little bit faster downstairs. We're probably getting one spawned in here because I paused a lot, which is fine. He will come around the corner. Again, I'm not sure because I don't know how far behind the other one is. Oh, there's one of them. We are almost done with wood puppets, by the way. Sir, could you not touch... This is actually going pretty well because
if they hit you...
Oh.
I'm sorry. If they hit you, do you go into a fight? Or
yeah,
do
you go into a fight.
Okay.
So now we are getting into fights, and because Erico doesn't get spooked when getting into fights as a wood puppet, we don't tag the spots, we just go straight into the fight and dominate with T-poses. To activate this attack, by the way, you would use the right trigger button. If you use the regular melee attack button, she uses her foot. There's also another attack where you use the D-pad and the trigger, and it hits more. This fight always spooks me because I never figure out if it's the trap that activates or the fight itself. So that is a thing.
These fights go pretty quick, though, because you're constantly hitting them, so anytime they go into an attack, you're in the counter hit stage.
Yep. And of course, we're getting adrenaline as we fight them, which is nice. Again, I won't heal until I go turn back into human Eriko. And there's the third and final fight. And here we go. Again, you kind of got to move around them because they will do that quick strike, which will cancel our T-pose attack. Let me see if I can get the other attack. So that's the other attack that we can do, is the spinny. Fellow arcader alum / staff, Umbrella Jill uses that attack a lot when dealing with the lumberjacks. So that is her preferred method for dealing with it. So now we go inside.
And coming up is the tree monster that
Yes.
is you want to look away if you're squeamish.
Yes.
So
I'm just gonna fully heal here. Or, heal as much as possible. It might not fully heal me. But we are ready for the fight. And I may be extremely silent for it. So Critique is going to explain what I am doing in the fight itself.
Alright, so this fight is against a giant tree. Every time it pukes, Abbie is hitting it for 2, and every time it swipes, she's hitting it for 3. And that's just because of how big of a window she has between hits to not get damaged. She's really not as concerned about her health right now because she did just do a full heal. But if she hadn't, she would probably be low on health, and this fight would be scary. And Illbleed is, of course, a adventure park, so everything is run by robots. And she just finished the first boss, but there's a cutscene there that comes up, and it's like, oh, we can't get the second phase working. Just go on, and the workers usher Eriko out into the next level,
which is the Killer Department Store, where we will see our first caution bomb. There are caution bombs in, I think, all the levels. I only know where to find 2 of them, but I don't use one in Home Run of Death. This is Killer Department Store is the only level that I use a caution bomb for. It'll just multi-tag things, is what a caution bomb does. So we get our prize, and it will not be full because I don't hit enough traps, but we get, a decent chunk of change. We need over $200,000 for Killer Department Store to be able to complete the full level, but also there's a gimmick with Killer Department Store, which is that they pay you $150 up front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, there is a gimmick with Killer Department Store, which is that the traps will also take money from you, so that's why they pay you up front. So, not only do you take heart rate, or bleed damage, or health damage, or a combination of all 3, you also lose some cash. So it's very, very bad. So here we are, Killer Department Store, level 4 of 6.
I actually don't remember the story of this one. I know that it's a department store, it's like towards the holidays, and the final boss is named, what is it, Cashman?
No, the final boss is a giant spider, which can be our final boss as an option, but we won't be choosing it as the final boss. From what I remember of the story, there is a giant sale that the owner decides to do, and he ends up killing everybody and just taking their money for himself. We are not on Pattern B, by the way. If we were on Pattern B, the shopping cart would have been the first trap.
That sever head, really important. You need to take that with you when you go shopping.
Yes, and you will all find out the joys of why we take that severed head with us. We are on pattern C, by the way. If it was pattern A, it would be the yellow candy.
Which is the best for the department store?
Pattern B, because we get to skip the hair trap.
Okay.
Yes, it doesn't have the hair trap. Not that the hair trap's that much of an issue. So here's where I'm going to use the caution bomb. Again, that's just my opinion as well. Some people might like A more or C more. There's no real, like, oh my god, I really wanted it to be this. Like, there's no fights that are gonna happen if it was X pattern or B pattern, you know what I mean? So, it's just like, okie dokie.
Are there patterns that just tend to crop up more in certain levels?
I'm not sure. I mean, for example, somebody who was watching during my learning process was like, you seem to get A and C like 66% of the time versus this, and it's like, okay. And I do get A and C a lot more in Home Run of Death than I do in any other pattern. Okay, good. You usually don't get 2 cans, by the way. And now we are coming up on the reason we took the severed head. It is Mr. Hellcake.
Hellcake!
Everybody's favorite little buddy. I mean,
You can
he's
give
taller
him-
than us, but...
Yeah, you can give him, I think, another item, but the severed head is clearly the best.
Yes, and you can take him and eat him if you want, but we're not going to be that mean. We're going to leave him be. Now, if you're wondering, like, where's the best spot to find out which pattern you're actually on? It is this one. Because if you are on pattern A, you're going to get the chicken in the front. If you're on pattern B, you get the hooves in the front. If you're on pattern C, you get the things in the back. And we're taking 3 pork, known as chicken in the Japanese version, because we have to feed some friends. Or bullies. They're more bullies than friends, now that I really think about it. And we also need a piece of meat once we get into the steakhouse. I hope you're all ready for giant cockroaches, because giant cockroaches. There is a 7% chance, by the way, as I messed that up, for both cockroaches to go away. I accidentally said, no, don't feed it. I meant to say feed it. So I'm going to feed this one too. So is this meat okay? And then is this meat okay? There is a 7% chance to get them both to disappear on 1 meat. You technically only want to grab 3 meat because you need 1 in here. This is the first time I've ever been hit by the meat, by the way. I didn't know that the meat would actually try to hit you. You cannot get into the steakhouse without meat, so that's why we take 3. We take 1 per cockroach, and then we take 1 for the steakhouse itself.
And normally you would just feed each cockroach 1, and then if it doesn't leave, take the hit and go ahead. Just to make sure that you only have 1, because otherwise all of your meat will fight you in the steakhouse, and
Yes.
that can get overwhelming.
And now we are here with this. There are worms here. They tend to leave you alone, though, if you're walking over here. We need to tag the onion. Looks like they've seen better days. At least they look
very big onions.
Yes. They look like onions to me, by the way. I don't know if they're actual onions. And then we've got 3 piles of goo. If you're on pattern B, you do the middle pile of goo, A, the first pile of goo, and C, the last pile of goo. Oh my god, I'm not on B? What? Okay. I guess I got my patterns wrong. We tag the ananas. For those who don't speak French, ananas is French for pineapple. So apparently I'm on pattern C this whole time. So there we go. And now we are coming up on the most difficult most difficult fight, my apologies, in the game. Because while not a boss fight, Rachel's children want revenge for killing their mother. I at least think that Rachel's children, because we are fighting 3 worms at once, and they like to protect each other. So, yeah, this is a thing. You want to come into this fight with full health. Like, it is so difficult because, well, you'll see in a moment. So they kind of protect each other, and it's like, please stop protecting each other.
And remember, they won't die unless they're hit with counter hits.
Yes, and so you're looking for the counter hits. We have killed one. Obviously, the more we kill, the easier it is. Oh my god, this fight is going so beautifully. Like, I'm not even joking about that for the sake of the run. I mean, holy crap, this fight is...
Alright everyone, sorry for that. We ran into some technical difficulties. The stream should be ready now. We're going to go back to Abbie and her run of Illbleed. Take it away.
Alright, my apologies for that. As I was saying before everything went down, you want the worms to also die close together because they're all going to drop orbs to refill. And depending how far they are is how long they take to get to you. Also, one thing that I wanted to bring up was that Eriko reminds me of Ulala, because every time she dodges, it sounds like Ulala when she goes shoot, shoot, shoot. So, a bit of Space Channel 5 in here, even though it's not the same person. It just reminds me of that for some strange reason, as this worm is being a pain. Like I said, this is probably the worst fight in the game. And is that all 3 dead? That is all 3 dead!
It's really funny you mentioned that. Erika's voice actor is actually a really prolific voice actor that is still doing voice acting today. In fact, she was in the Remothered series.
Oh.
Yeah, which came out, I believe, last year. So you've probably heard her voice several other places.
Alright, we are going to heal up, because again, we took a lot of damage. My adrenaline is okay, and here we go into Toyland. In order to enter Toyland, you need $200,000. You could not get in here without $200,000. That is why, I mean, typically with the speedrun, you're going to be fine, because $200,000 is nothing, because we're not upgrading the character at all or anything. Again, I do tag a lot in here because there is a lot to get hit by. I will probably still get hit by something. Because it's almost impossible to not get hit because you're gonna forget about something. So we've got magical hats, magician's things, UFOs, space toys, you name it, it's here.
I will say, we are using Eriko because Eriko's the first character you get and it's faster to not save people. But regardless, we would probably use Eriko anyways because she has a special ability where at the start of a fight, you'll notice she starts like falling down. All the other characters start on the ground and they kind of crawl around for a few minutes. Eriko gets back up almost immediately.
Yes.
So she's much better at fights, which we do have to do some of.
Yes, and you need a shock collar, I believe, for male characters to not do that. So Eriko, she may have the worst jumps, but she has the best for not for enemy encounters if you don't tag the enemy encounter. If you tag the enemy encounter, no characters fall down first. And here we see Cork and Sexy Doll and Buzz Lightyear ripoff, whose name escapes me at this very moment.
Here we meet Mary, and we're gonna go into the maze.
Yes.
So the location of Mary is the same every time, I think, regardless of pattern. So if you know what you're doing, you can find her pretty quick. But that being said, I believe we're being chased by Mary as well.
Yes.
We're looking for the pieces and we're being chased by Mary. And she is, one, a short character. So some of Erika's swings go over her head, and 2, she has a knife that does a lot of bleed damage, so we want to avoid her.
Yes, she does quite a bit of health damage as well. We need to find 4 pieces in total. We have found 2 of them. We want to watch out for this corner because she will be around the corner. Again, the pausing in the map still works, so that is fantastic for our purposes as we continue to go here. Going, and then we're going to turn here to grab this one. And then we want to turn around. And then we're going to turn around again. Again, I'm kind of taking what I call the lost path because we don't want to see that quite yet. We're looking for the... actually, I think I just went to a complete circle.
No.
It's not the best for our purposes because we want the purple, pink section, whichever color you prefer to say that color is. There's Mary again. Again, we're gonna run into Mary a ton. Yeah, I kind of went the longish way here, but that's fine. We're gonna want to go this way. Again, we can use the map button to pause Mary, which is nice, and also kind of get our bearings if need be. I kind of forgot my complete movement for this and lost all my notes for it, so I kind of wing it still, but not doing too bad as we find the final piece. And then, sort of in traditional early 2000s, late 90s Japanese games, we are going to have to open the menu 4 times to complete the puzzle. So, that's a thing.
There were no, would you like to place all the pieces options back then?
Yes, or at least combine items. So now we're here. We're actually not doing too bad on time for this level, as we are 13 minutes 3 seconds in to the level itself. Obviously, RTA, we are a bit behind due to technical issues, but we are almost done with the level itself. We have to find Mary, and with us on pattern C, she will be behind glasses. I will point out each pattern's hiding spot, because she has now gone into hide-and-seek mode before combat mode. So if she's on A, we want the piano. If she's on B, we want that. And if she's on C, we want the glasses. But before I go into the fight, I'm going to heal myself, even though I had very little damage, because again, she does a lot of damage, and it's like, oh no. So we have found her.
She's kind of like the classic haunted doll / Chucky archetype, and she does a lot of damage. We, of course, don't like damage, so...
As you can see, she is just doing all the damages. Luckily, she's going into evil mode, and just kind of sat there, which was nice. I've never actually seen her take that long to go into quote-unquote evil mode, as I called it. Again, we are taking massive amounts of damage, but because we aren't moving, quote-unquote, we're just attacking, we're not increasing our bleed meter. So we're now going to take this key, and I hope we have Mario Party fans in the chat, as well as on comms, because get ready for the Mario Party section coming up here. I'm not joking, by the way. Mario Party incoming. Oh, wait, I need to use the key. As we have to do some jump rope.
Listen, this might be a controversial take. I know a lot of people don't like sneaking sections in games and say get rid of them. I say get rid of jump rope sections.
So here we are with jump rope. I screwed up because I went too late because I half distracted myself, but it's fine because it was only the first one. So we have to do 10. So not exactly the funnest of times. I did that too early. GG's. Usually I get this first try.
There is a massive delay between button press and jump.
Yes. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Slows down. 10.
10. Yay!
Yes, and now we are done with Mary as a whole. And now we are going to see the quote-unquote boss of the level, and he can be a choice for the... Yes, I believe this one is the he, and the final boss is the she. But we can choose the spider as the final boss if we want to. We're not going to because it is slower. It used to be the top one, but as of recently, it's been changed to Bull Stinger for the final boss, who is a Blue Stinger boss. So there are references to Blue Stinger, the developer's previous game to this one, scattered throughout the game. The only one that I know is Blue Stinger, or not Blue Stinger, is Bull Stinger. Although there is apparently a character that is a trap. By the way, we are now in tank controls, controlling the spider, and we just want to make it bash its head against the safes here, and it's going to catch fire.
That's the only way to kill that boss. It is, again, another invincible boss. You have to go around and get to the back of the attraction and grab its controls to be able to kill it. You can hit Eriko with it, by the way, and it does a ton of damage. So we're gonna not do that.
Yes. And now it's time for everybody's favorite, Killer Man. Why is it everybody's favorite? That's a bit of sarcasm, but also not a bit of sarcasm, depending. Because it's a giant walking simulator.
Another reference to Blue Stinger. The Hassie up in the top left there. That's another healing item from Blue Stinger as well.
Also, I've accidentally spent a little bit too much money than what I would usually do, as I bought 7 of the adrenaline and stuff. I don't know why I did that. I usually don't, but it's okay, because we have more than enough money to finish the game. I guess it's ultra safe route time, you could say. So here we have Killer Man, the superhero, supervillain that kills people. Sort of the backstage area where you can see all the enemies and whatnot. Also, there are 4 different camera types, by the way. There's semi-follow 1, semi-follow 2, auto-follow 1, auto-follow 2. I kind of like auto-follow 2 the most because you can see her legs and everything, so it makes it easier for the jumping sections in the early game. And also, it controls a lot better, so that's why I use that, but I just wanted to show that there are multiples. So now that we have the horror monitor, and you can find all the door codes, but if you know the door codes, you won't need them. So 0017 is our first door code. The next door code is going to be 0824. So now we are just running through. By the way, they're going to think we're a part-time employee and not a participant in the Illbleed prize, for whatever reason. I don't know why they think we're a part-time employee, but they think we're a part-time employee.
Illbleed gets weirdly meta at sometimes. This is one of those times. Instead of going straight into the attraction, we're going backstage. And we're gonna find out that one of the Killer Man costumes is missing. This is apparently a problem. Also, somebody might have turned up dead.
Yes. And here we meet Jorg. Nobody likes Jorg. Jorg is bad.
Jorg takes a long time to save. There's actually 3 endings in Illbleed. The bad ending, where Eriko doesn't save all of her friends. The good ending, in which she does. And then the true ending, which is done, I believe, on a New Game Plus.
Yes.
And you let all of your friends die.
Yes.
That would take a very long time. Because there's some other stuff that happens with that, too. And there's another final boss for the true ending and stuff. But Jorg is the one that we skip saving, regardless. And good ending, we would revive him for $400,000 because he just takes so long to save.
I am tagging things. I think I'm on B. But I'm tagging extra things so that I don't get caught off guard.
Do you have a weapon yet?
No, we do not have a
Okay.
weapon until after the trap sections. So because I tagged that, she doesn't fall down. And of course we have Mr. Wrench here in a very tiny area, so it's a little bit harder to get him out of the way as I get hit there. But luckily I'm not super bleeding yet. Dodging, going. We will be getting a shotgun, by the way, for this Slumber's weapon. But it is not quite time to grab said shotgun. Also, there are propeller blades or ceiling fan blades here as well. I'm surprised it hasn't gone. Oh, I'm turned around. That's why that's happening. Sometimes I get turned around because reasons, and it kind of gets annoying. Okay, that should be good. And if I stick over here, we're fine, and we are through. So that is the first major trap area. This is the second major trap area, and we pretty much want to stick to the left for the most part. I'm going to heal my adrenaline. HP and everything is fine for the most part. I need to tag the UFOs here. I don't know which one's going to tag off. We kind of want to stick to the left because if you see the green tarp there, it counts as a wall. So if you're too close to that, it won't count. Luckily, also, we want to tag this corner because there's a Mary doll, and if we don't tag the corner, she gets aggroed. But if we tag the corner, she's not as aggroed, and will just kind of stand there and eventually notice us, but kind of not hit us most of the time. So
Does the pause trick work in combat?
No, because you just get the pause button. You can't activate the map or anything.
Ah, okay. Cool.
There we go. Stick to the sides. Oh. Didn't know. So that's the trap that we would have seen on pattern B in Wood Puppets if I didn't tag it. It's just, an enemy just popping out of the box and being like, what's up? We play the relaxing CD to calm our heart rate. Keep going. Oh, I got into another combat with the zombies. This is what a double enemy looks like. They will hit each other and will count as a counter hit. You can get them to basically kill each other, which is nice. Luckily, we escape super fast. There are also eggs in the area as well. Okay, we're good. And we're good. So we're through both major trap areas. There is another area that has a bit of traps, but we are going to pick up our shotgun now. Again, we're only going to use it for Killer Man himself. Also, chat, I have a question for you all. Who is Killer Man? Our options are Jorg, Killer Man is Killer Man, Player is Killer Man, Jason is Killer Man, and I forget the fifth option. So, I will let you all decide who is Killer Man.
Chat, come on. Kevin is Killer Man? Okay.
I don't think Kevin's an option.
I don't think Kevin's an option either. I will say that I like the justification for Player. It's some sort of, oh goodness, I forget the wording. Some sort of abnormality caused you to buy this game is the justification for putting the player as the killer. Jason, because of horror tropes from Indie Villain.
Okay. Also, by the way, you can see all the numbers of enemies, like the zombies are 2, the lumberjacks are 9, Killer Man is 11. So that's kind of a nice touch. Now we have to walk all the way back to the beginning because Jorg is like, oh man, check out the Killer Man, and it's so annoying. Like, again, this is the walking sim level, which is why it's everyone's favorite. And then next level is Toy Hunter, which is based on an episode. And I hope you're all ready to see Sonic's true form, because the true Sonic is in this game. I tell you the truth.
I hope there's a lot of Sonic fans in chat, because we're gonna expose Sonic for his evilness.
And also the blood zombies are enemy number 5, as you saw in the box there briefly. So now we see a dead person, and now we go this way and enter the code 0824.
So this is like the murder mystery level. You're supposed to go through and like try to figure out who could possibly be killing these people. And the game kind of like leads it as like York, because you never see him when these people are dying, and he's kind of like the last person left alive when you get towards the question. But it's not who you think it is, Chad.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, there's a trap that we can get here coming up.
It is not on this pattern.
Oh, it isn't?
No,
Right.
because of the stair trap there, the other trap won't activate. On this side, there is another one that could happen, but there is a flashing lights warning coming up if I miss the thing and don't tag them correctly. So do beware.
You mentioned Blue Stinger earlier. Dog's Bower is actually one of the traps on this level. He comes across one of the conveyor belts. It's just an outfit made to look like dogs, I think. He has like a red bandana, a yellow shirt that's like a tourist shirt, and like some long cargo jeans. He's one of the playable characters from Blue Stinger, and everybody who plays Blue Stinger loves him because his abilities change depending on what shirt he is wearing.
Cool.
Again, playing this a little bit safe just to be like, because there are more cockroaches. Tiny cockroaches, mind you, but more cockroaches nonetheless. And here are the traps that would trigger long red flashing lights. But I have grabbed them both, so we do not have to see that. So we are good. Again, not a lot of traps in this part. I may tag the spot for that's only on B, although I think I'm on C? This will actually confirm what pattern I'm on. Huh, I'm on A. Fair enough, game. Fair enough.
So which is the preferred pattern for this one?
For this one, A and C. Doesn't really matter if A and C, because B is the only one that has an exclusive pattern, or an exclusive trap, sorry, which is actually coming up shortly. And because we don't have B, we can just skip on by. There's going to be some body bags, and if we were on B, we would have to tag one of them because it would activate immediately. Whereas A and C, you can just super dodge, so it would be like right there that we would have to tag, and then we would just run around the corners here. Killer Man has struck again. Oh no. By the way, the answer to the Killer Man mystery is that it's ghosts possessing the Killer Man.
Victims of the theme park.
Erico, is there a reason we're not... Erico, please, climb the ladder. Alright, so now we're going this way, followed by this way.
And it doesn't matter if we get that question right or not, because if you were saving Yorg, you would get $1 million prize for getting it correct. But since Yorg takes forever to save, we're skipping him, running past that, and forfeiting the prize.
Indeed. Because Yorg is also a jerk and not a cool character and doesn't deserve to be saved anyway. So...
What?
Haha.
Why is Yorg a jerk?
It's a bit of a meme in Umbrella Jill's channel. So I believe Jason, everyone agreed. So there you go. Jason, we selected as Killer Man, and we're gonna leave. And then we go to the morgue. And look at all the dead bodies. Those
This
are
is-
all dead bodies, by the way.
This is why you follow safety standards when building a theme park, and not put random traps or lumberjacks trying to kill people.
Yes, but also there is a prize of $100 million, so I don't know if you exactly want to give that away willy-nilly, so... I don't
Is this
know.
what morgues look like? Yes, this is what morgues look like.
I guess so. Oh yeah! Wait, that's an H. Alright, whatever. I don't know what pattern I'm on, but it only raises my heart rate, so what have you. Or did I say we were on A? I thought I said I was on C, but it might have been A the whole time. A, you would actually tag that there. So I may have confused myself by saying C when it was actually A.
I know we've mentioned the story a few times, but the story with the Illbleed opens up with Erica giving a speech about how her family raised, or she was raised traveling haunted house or whatever, and so her dad was always trying to scare her. She wins speech competition, and her friends are like, let's go to Illbleed to celebrate her. And so she's like, I don't want to. You guys go have fun. And they all have their own, oh, you should come, there's a chainsaw in it, or whatever. And of course, they leave. Erica doesn't hear from them for a few days, so she goes looking for them. And what happens depends on which ending you get.
Yeah, so Jorg has gone missing now. Farewell, Jorg. May you rest in peace, as you've been taken away on a train car. Like I said, very walking simulator for this level. This is the last part of the level. We're on our way to Killer Man. As we run through. It is a bit of a maze. This is kind of the final maze, if you will. So we're just gonna run on these tracks, which is where the train cars go through. The order is a bit weird, because we're gonna go left, and then we're gonna go straight, then we're gonna take the second right. I usually get lost around here, because I don't do the Killer Man level a lot, because sometimes my runs die way before it, but luckily I have quick recoveries, because I'm like, oh, this is the wrong way, let's go. So this is that right that I would mention. You want to take the second right, boom, you go straight for a while, you take the left, you take the right, actually no you don't, you take the left again.
I will also say this is the last time we'll be seeing Erica for a while, so everybody enjoy her presence. The next mission next area, we will be playing as a different character.
Yes, technically a different character, but it's Erica in a costume.
Because again, this is all an adventure park.
Yes.
It's all robots.
So then we go this way. We don't want to go left. Now we want to go left. I'm surprised I didn't get mixed up. And then we should be seeing cars. There we go. This is how you know you've gone the right way, by the way, is you'll start seeing a lot of cars, carts, whatever you want to call them. And then we jump down here. Again, you also want to hug the left wall. I call it a wall because it's an invisible wall. You cannot fall into the corpses, as we are about to do Kill a Man. So that is a thing. Again, because we have Kevin, if we die, we have to restart the level completely and do Kevin things. So it's like, oh joy. That is a save spot, but again, you will play as Kevin, but luckily I've kind of figured out the methods of the madman known as Kevin.
Did you know guns are effective against ghosts?
Yes.
This is how I learned that. Also, I don't know what's going on in this room. I guess this is how. A lot of screaming faces, I guess blood covered. So Killer Man will teleport and do that big AoE attack, which of course we want to avoid.
And we also want him to do that AoE attack consistently, because that's how you get the most damage out of him, because you can counter hit him out of that a lot. However, it is a bit difficult to get it over and over and over again. So that is a thing. Pretty good. Of course, you want to avoid the giant Kamehameha blast or Miseko. It's kind of more of a Miseko. Dragon Ball references, of course, because Miseko is yellow. Miseko is Gohan's attack for any Dragon Ball fans in chat. Whereas the Kamehameha is blue. And then pop. Be careful, because again, it does a lot of damage. Oh yay, he's laughing. Laughing is an instant counter hit. He is almost dead, which is fantastic.
It's really interesting to watch because I'll see you dodge, and it looks like you're dodging and still getting hit by the stars, but they aren't doing damage. I guess Erico has some iframes there.
And we won. When he starts shaking his hands like that, he has died, which is nice. Of course, we lost a ton of cash, but that's fine. Again, we have more than enough money to do this. Plus, for the final boss, we can't heal anyway, so we won't need to purchase anything for the final boss as we head into Toy Hunter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
There is an upgrade system in this game where you can increase a character's stats. It is one very expensive, and I believe you need certain items for it. So it takes a little bit of time to do. I imagine that's part of the reason why you skip it. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's also not really needed for the speedrun, so it's kind of like, you know, I mean, for New Game Plus, you would upgrade all your stats. Because obviously if you're doing New Game Plus, you can carry everything over, whereas New Game, you can't carry over that stuff, so Bad Ending and True Ending, you can't carry that stuff over. At least I don't think for New Game, or True Ending, or not True Ending, Good Ending. So
they are just giving out free guns and horror monitors in this level. So we start out with those.
I mean, to be fair, they give us a free horror monitor in every level. We just have to know where they are. So hello? Is this the reason you're taking forever to give me the ladder? Thank you. So now we have that. Don't forget to pick up your ticket. You do need to pick up the ticket itself after you escape the fight. And of course, activate entry. And now we become Quark, the toy hunter. This level is actually based on an episode of the television show called Quark Goes to Hell. It tells you in the intro movie to the level. So, haha.
This story is interesting, and it's also the, I believe, only mission in the game where the cutscenes are styled like traps, so you can tag them and like watch them, or you can skip them. So we'll be skipping all of them.
Yes.
Or as many of them as possible.
And but basically the story is there's a child that dies, their mother throws their favorite sexy doll into the coffin, and you would see that in this cutscene right here. Of course, that sexy doll is Quark's sexy doll. They're in a relationship, or they're married. I can't quite remember how it goes. I think it's that they're married. So Quark is trying to send himself into hell by any means necessary so that he can reunite with his sexy doll.
It's very specifically toy hell, not human hell.
Yes.
There is a distinction that Illbleed makes.
Okay, so we're on pattern A, because I believe pattern A is first and fourth, so if it's the fourth one, we are on pattern A. If it is not the fourth one, then we are on a different pattern. going to stop my bleeding just in case, and continue. It should be noted that he thinks he needs to go to real hell right now, and it's not till Podidon, I finally remembered his name, tells you that, actually, I read the Bible wrong, and it's toy hell that you need to go to, which is being buried in a child's coffin when they die. So he saves us from execution, because we were going to get executed for a crime we did not commit. How did I...
But Quark was okay with that, because he thought he was going to be reunited with Sexy Doll, and then it's just this whole thing. So he has to go find he has to go find a kid to be buried with. Is his goal at this point?
Not at the moment. It won't be till we hit the post-execution. So I'm looking for one of those orbs. One of those orbs is a monkey fight. So this is where we would first see the monkey fight if I didn't get it in Revenge of the Worm Queen. But because I got it in Revenge of the Worm Queen, we're going to see it now. What pattern am I on? I still can't tell because I somehow avoided Trap 4 and Trap 3 and Trap 2. So I'm not sure what pattern I'm on. It might be C? I'll know once we get to the next area for sure. So here's the monkeys that we've already seen.
The voice acting is great. If you haven't seen this game's cutscenes, please either play it yourself or look up a playthrough, because it's delightfully, like, silly.
Like I said, it's a horror comedy, so it's absolutely fantastic. So we avoid all that. We want to tag these stairs because there's a story cutscene here. So tag the stairs. Also, male characters have the best jumps in the game, so that is something to keep in mind. You have basically super jumps now, as I will show in just a moment as I tag that story element. And then, whee! So, super far jumps. And then I need to find the spot to tag. Come on now. There we go. Okay, I am on C. This fight wouldn't happen on any other path but C. So, it is good to know which one I am on. And as you can see, they have guns and they do a crap ton of damage, and it's like, ugh. But luckily they weren't as aggroed, so we're pretty okay. I'm going to heal that just in case. Wrong way. Turning.
I did say that we only play as Eriko in all of the levels. There is a strat where, since we saved Kevin anyways in the first level, you might play through Revenge of the Worm Queen as Kevin, just because of the jump advantage. It's apparently very risky, though.
Yes.
So not everyone does it.
Some people are trying to figure out some strats with Kevin. Also, I will mention that Umbrella Jill also does the final boss fight as Kevin. So that is also a thing. I use Eriko for the entire run, as does the world record holder. I don't find a problem with using Eriko for the final boss fight, but again, do what's comfortable for you, right? If Kevin works for you for anything, use Kevin, you know? Some people, I saw an all Michelle run that's on YouTube. I don't think it's a speed run, but they use Michelle for everything after they unlock her. And Michelle is one of the weaker characters.
Michelle is the character we would have rescued in Revenge of the Worm Queen, but we just didn't see her. It takes time to go save her, and we're trying to go fast, so...
Yes.
Okay, we're at the part where he is in jail and is about to be executed for this crime that he didn't commit.
And then we're going to tag some cells so that we don't get trapped. Sometimes the cells are a little So that is something to look out for. C is 4, 5, and 6. Again, 6 can be a bit of a pain, as can other cells, so something to be aware of. I think that's the first time where I've ever gotten all 3 of them like that. So don't fret too much if you can't get them all. So now we are going to the judge. One thing here, you want to go over here, tag the center. If you try to tag it through the bars, it doesn't work for whatever reason. So that's why I walked behind the bench. And because we're skipping certain cutscenes, we don't know what death penalty we want, but the answer is going to be hanging. There are 3 death penalties in total, 1 by guillotine, 1 by electric chair, and of course hanging. And of course we saw that there was a lumberjack in prison. Most of the traps here just scare us. And here is where we will meet Potodon. And you may notice that he is a familiar color scheme to a certain other Toy Story character. I wonder who. And he requires some gas. So we're gonna go find him some gas.
Just putting gasoline in a children's toy. Don't worry about it.
So here we go. Tag to skip the story cutscene. You can actually double tag the barrel because if there's an item inside them, you can tag them as well. It doesn't skip anything or anything. So we've gotten the gas. And turn. And turn again. And then we, of course, go into the start menu. Do the things. Turn. Get out of there. And then we go this way. Again, we have to go get executed after all, and Potodon is now fully charged up. Guards don't do anything to you. I just noticed when I got a new PB that the guard is actually moving and bobbing his nightstick up and down. So here we go. Skip. This is where Potodon would save us. But we don't want to see these cutscenes, so now we fall down into the sewers, and we go this way.
So we found out that we need to go specifically to Toy Hell by being buried with a child, and so now we are going to go look for a child to be buried with.
Yes.
And all the implications that it includes. It's a very grim level.
And we want to tag this to avoid the trap. One of the patterns is after we go through here, just before the door. The other 2 patterns are where I just tagged. So go for it. And Potodon comes back and tells us about the child thing. And Cork goes, another lie. And then we get on Potodon and leave. And then we've killed that Potodon, technically, so we have his chip to equip Potodon, a new Potodon with the same memory. So now we are going around, and you're gonna see me kind of go in a rather large circle, and that is to avoid an enemy encounter. I don't know why there is an enemy encounter that I can just do that with, but whatever. Interact with the window. We are now have a new child, and we are about to murder that child using this Potodon. So we use the Potodon chip, we've murdered the child, and we are off to Toy Hell. So, Toy Hell awaits. We don't have any more things to tag. Down we go. And I hope we have Sonic fans in chat, because you are about to see his true form, and it's wonderfully beautiful.
Remember, this game was on the Sega Dreamcast.
Yes. Meet Sonic the Hedgehog, also known as Zodic. He used to be a fast hedgehog, but then he took a bullet to the knee. And of course, to kill him, you need to hit him in the rings. So you shoot him in the knee and or the arm in that case, and then fire at will at the rings. And
This is why Shadow can never defeat Sonic, or Eggman for that matter. He just keeps attacking Sonic, not the rings.
exactly. And also, I like that he does the Sonic finger wag at some points. He's just like, "You're too slow," and it's like, "Oh yeah, you think I'm too slow? Well, I know your weakness, which is rings."
We have a question from one of our texts. Is this the result of Sonic and Shadow's torrid love affair?
Maybe. This game did come out when Sonic Adventure 2 was a thing, so perhaps. So Shadow the Hedgehog did exist when this game was a thing.
You heard it here, folks.
Again, he tries to kick us, and we just keep shooting him and his rings. Woo! Whoops. Didn't quite hit them. Again, you kind of have to wait a bit before you can just hit him. There is one more ring left. I have to wait to hit him. There we go. Shoot him in the knee. Where's the ring? There it is.
He's much better at picking up the rings than I am.
Where is it? There it is. Fire at will. And he is dead. Farewell. Is he just...
He was the king of hell, the ruler of hell. He's gone now.
Yes.
And so now Cork is reunited with his beloved Sexy Doll.
Yes, and rides off with Sexy Doll on Potodon. And that is the end of that level. It is now time for the final boss, which we just run right to, because again, buying healing items or anything is pointless, because we can't use them. In combat, you cannot use healing items, you just get the pause
screen.
menu. Alright.
That's from a different time. Now you pause like games during combat and it pulls up the full menu, but the pause menu and the settings or the item menu used to be completely separate. I can't think of any games like recently where they were the same.
Now, if you're doing this for the first time, I would recommend picking up the Mary Doll, because if you die with a Mary Doll, it just resurrects you as the character that you are. You only get one, and now we have Bull Stinger as our final boss choice.
The game lets you pick between 3 bosses: the Spider, Bull Stinger, and I can't remember the last one.
Oh no, man.
Oh no, man. Bull Stinger is the fastest, so that's why you pick that. It is one of the enemies from Blue Stinger, the launch game for Dreamcast. It's like one of only 2 games to launch with the Dreamcast. This company that made Illbleed also made that, and there's a lot of references and stuff. We've mentioned dogs and Hassie.
It should be mentioned that that's for the Japanese Dreamcast as well, because the North American Dreamcast, which was $99.99, had one of the best video game launch lineups in history for a long, long time. I think it wasn't beaten until the PS4 when it came to launch day of a console. Of course, the Dreamcast was out for a year, I think, in Japan before it came out in North America. Like how traditional, almost every console came out in Japan before it came out in North America by a large period of time. And speaking of time, that is time. Also, the man up in that shadow box is Eriko's father. He specifically built this theme park to scare Eriko, because she used to never be scared of things. But you only find out about that in the true ending, that it is her father. Also, please jam out to probably the best credit song in the history of video games. This thing is a bop.
You see a bunch of the enemies in the background. I know that one's hard to see.
Yeah, you'll see bosses, enemies, and
Big
whatnot.
wrench dude.
Because we start with Bambalo, and then the wrench zombie thing. I don't think it's actually a zombie. You'll see Mary. I haven't super paid. You'll see the spider boss. You'll see Hellcake, among many other things. Critique, would you like to promote yourself at all?
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Critique Quartz. I have a YouTube channel at Critique Quartz. And I also have a Twitter. I'm not active on anything right now, but I help out with Lady Arcaders. I volunteer for a bunch of speedrun stuff as tech and a host. If you want to follow me on Twitter, say hi, go ahead. I love talking to people. But yeah, that's me. What do you have to promote, Abbie?
I have a Twitter account at Abbie_Brander. I have a co-host now that I can actually post on at Abbie's Corner. I mainly post speedrun related things there. I only currently have 2 people following me, sad face. I have a Twitch at Abbie's Corner. I also have 2 YouTube channels. One is Abbie's Corner, and then another one is Abbie's Corner Archive. If you like speedruns and like to see all my runs, that's the place to go. Slowly getting them all up there. They should all be up there by like January 4th at this point, because I'm only releasing one a day. Also, there's Rachel there. If you are interested in running this game, by the way, Punchy has a very nice guide. Use it as a learning curve, because it is 2 years old, so there's a bunch of tech that's not there anymore. Or that we don't use anymore. Of course, use various runs that you may see, like this one.
There's 6 people.
Or Umbrella Jill's run, or go onto SRC and pick whatever run you'd like that's at least within the last year. You can also, again, practice makes perfect with this. But for the most part, it's a very difficult speedrun, by the way. So don't expect to be amazing at it quickly. Of course, play the game casually to see all the cutscenes. It's fantastic. I also have a couple of events coming up in the near future. December 3rd, I have 2 events back to back. Oh my god, it's going to be a nightmare. But yes, I have various social medias and whatnot. Thank you for letting me come back to do Illbleed. You can also check out Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill Origins and Goosebumps Dead of Night in the Lady Arcaders archives on YouTube and Twitch. I think we do archives on Twitch, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
I know we have a YouTube channel. I know we have a TikTok, Twitter. There's a public Discord that everybody is welcome to join. And then there's the private Discord that has only women or people who feel women applies to them. And we have a TikTok. I think I did not mention. If you want to join, you are free to follow any of our social media accounts. And if you want to join the private server, just send us a request and we will get you an invite. Other than that, I think that's it. You got anything else, Abbie?
Yeah, I just want to notice this ending. The bad ending says all my friends are dead. Never mind the fact that Kevin's still alive, and even if you finish the game as Kevin, Eriko goes, I lost all my friends and I'd give back the $1 million if I could bring them back. And it's like, Kevin's still alive, yo. I'm not sure what's happening.
I think you get that ending regardless of how many friends you save, if it's not the full amount. So if you don't save everybody, you get the bad ending.
I just find it funny that she's like, all my friends are dead. I guess Kevin's not a friend, confirmed.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's sometimes people you hang around with because your friends like them. Maybe that's Kevin and Eriko. It's unfortunate, but... Alright, everyone, thank you for watching. We will have highlights of this and clips on our Twitter. We are excited to have you, and stick around for the raid. We're going to be raiding Fastest Furs. They're live now. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.